Let me illustrate that notion of global system dynamic through two examples. The first example is how Virgin Mobile entered the US mobile market in the year 2000. Due to the DNA of the brand, Virgin wanted to target a young audience, teenagers, young adults. But this target for cell phone operators always presented a critical problem that it was impossible to get them to engage in a 2-year contract because they don't have the credit profile to support such a commitment. So it was impossible to sign contract with such a target, which means that for all the existing cell phone operators, that young audience was not economically viable. How did Virgin Mobile resolve that problem? Through business model innovation. They wanted to build a model that allowed them to work with that audience with no contract, because contract was not an option. It was physically, financially impossible. So they redesigned the business model for working with that target. At first, leveraging the DNA of the brand, the fact that they had a clear identified target, they worked with the assumption that they could focus much more efficiently the advertising expenses for recruiting customers. Second, they made the decision, instead of going through proprietary stores, which is what every cell phone operator was doing by that time in the US, in Europe, everywhere, they decided to go through existing retailers where that young audience was used to going and just build small corners to exhibit the Virgin phones and the Virgin product, mobile product there. And third, they decided to, instead of subsidizing very expensive phones, to subsidize much cheaper phone. And for doing that, they negotiated with a Class B, a second-tier cell phone manufacturer that in the first, when they launched, was Kyocera, a Japanese manufacturer, which allowed them to negotiate very good terms with Kyocera and very cheap phones that they could offer to their audience. The combination of these three simple decisions, combined with that target, allowed Virgin Mobile to divide by 3 the cost of acquisition of a new customer. On average, by the beginning of the century, by the year 2000, the cost of acquisition of a new customer for a cell phone operator was around $370. With this new business model design for that young audience, Virgin brought it down to $120. You can imagine the huge barriers that created between Virgin business model and the business model of existing cell phone operators. It was impossible for any of the traditional cell phone operators to come and compete with Virgin Mobile on their territory. You see how value, the new target, the offering, the organization contributed to actually building a breakthrough. And it did impact Virgin business on the 3 dimensions. Overcoming adoption hurdle for the young audience, which was in that case finding a way to operate without contract, creating huge barriers, which was in that case dividing by 3 the cost of acquisition of a new customer, and cash flow dynamic, low the cost of entry, and operating at a much lower cost with a profit.